Hi, Rachel, Mr. Hausman here. Let's take a look at the final 2 units on sound waves, and I'm going to merge them into one video. So if you received the original wave packet, the one with, or the new one, excuse me, the one with headphones on the front, it's all about sound and light. And we've already done kind of a little exploration on the first few pages, so I just wanted to share kind of this page. So I see we're on page 4. So let's talk about sound waves, right? So is hearing the same as sound? And what do I mean by that? Well, no, the creation of sound or a pressure wave is different than the perception of those waves. Some people perceive them differently. We have structures in our ear to allow us to hear these, and not everyone genetically has all of the same structures or the same function. So hearing is actually the perception of sound. Now, a typical human, we are all of the same species, and we all seem to have a similar range of pitches that we can hear, or frequencies, and it's 20 to 20,000. It's kind of easy to remember because of the 20s. So the lowest we can hear is a 20 hertz deep bass sound, and highest is 20,000. So let's talk about this word. I just mentioned the word pitch. The pitch of a sound wave is really just how high or low are the frequencies. Now, pitches have names like A, B, B sharp, G, right? We know that those are called notes in music, but those are the pitches that we're trying to sing or maybe play on an instrument. But they're really equivalent to the frequency of any other wave. The loudness of a sound wave is different. That's the amplitude of the sound waves. Now, so a typical human hears between 20 and 20,000, and maybe you've been through a hearing test. But what if it's below 20? Well, if it's below 20 on the range of sound waves, we refer to that as infrasonic or infrasound. Infrasounds are less than 20 hertz, and they are not perceptible by humans. You might be able to feel them with your body. You could feel the vibrations on your skin or on your back or something like that, something tapping at 4 hertz. Elephants can actually hear them with their ears and with their feet. So notice elephants can hear down almost down to 1 or 2 hertz. Here's where an elephant falls on the hearing scale. So what's the other end of the range about? Well, 20,000 is the cutoff, right? Now, a typical student in our class actually hears about up to 19,000 or maybe 18,000. What happens is, as you age, the high end of what you can perceive is shifted. I cannot hear anything higher than about 16,000 hertz. Other students could. And anything above 20,000 has the name ultrasound or ultrasonic. Ultrasound can be used for, it's for communicating with dogs and cats. Well, dogs and cats can hear the same sounds we can, plus they get almost a doubling. They can hear up to 40,000 hertz. So that's why we have these things called dog whistles. I guess they would also work on a cat. The question is, would the cat just ignore it? So those are the ranges. Dolphins and bats can hear as high, or they can perceive as high as 1,600,000 hertz, and they use that for ultrasonic navigation. Dolphins often swim in pitch black water. They're not always near the surface. Bats, we traditionally think of them as flying around at night looking for prey, and they use those frequencies for echolocation and for tracking down prey. Okay, let's go to the next topic: bow waves, shock waves, and sonic booms. Okay, so let's talk about a boat for a minute. A boat traveling on water. Well, what if the boat is not moving at all, but it's just bobbing up and down? What would happen is, here's the boat in the middle, and here are all the water waves created by the boat just kind of sitting at the dock. Why is it round and why isn't it the shape of the boat? Let's kind of just simplify it. But this would be at a speed of 0. The sound waves travel outward in all directions, but the source is not moving. Now, next, what's the picture on the right? Well, what if the boat starts moving in this direction? What if the v of the object is not 0, but it's not moving too fast? It's slow enough that the wave, it's not as fast as the waves. Notice the waves are still staying in front. And what we hear or what we see is something called the Doppler effect. We'll talk about that next. But what we really notice is that there seems to be a shift. On the front side, the waves are closer together. So they have higher frequencies and they have shorter wavelengths. And on the back side, if you were to observe the boat's waves from behind it, that's sometimes called the wake. They would be a lower frequency. Now, the boat is not changing its waves, it's just being perceived differently. Now, what happens in the most extreme case, or the second to most extreme case? What if the object keeps up with its own waves? What if it's the same speed? And what we get is a very large buildup of waves on the front. And this is called a bow wave. And a bow wave is a high pressure region, and to get through it, the boat is really going to have to push. Okay, so it's going so fast that the boat is able to keep up with its waves. But do you notice that you're also getting a V shape? And this is the beginning of what's called a wake. A wake as in a boat wake. It's kind of V-shaped and it goes behind the boat. But if the boat goes through it. Now, if the boat goes even faster, then the waves are always behind it. So what if the boat is out here in front, it's going very fast, and the waves are behind it, and that is called a shock wave. I also want to change the story, okay? What if it's no longer a boat creating a wake and a bow wave? What if instead this is an airplane? Airplanes can also make waves, right? Sound waves from their engines and from the noise of the air going over the airplane, but mostly from the engines. So airplanes make noise, they make sound, and airplanes, some of them can go faster than sound. Not all of them, but some of them can go faster than sound waves. And this is referred to as going supersonic. And you notice that all the waves are all behind it. So even the waves that are created and close to the source, they're behind. But do you notice there's this pattern forming? All of these sound waves seem to line up. Do you notice? And this is, again, another example of a wake. But this would be a sound wake, right? It would be a shock wave. This is a pressure zone. Instead of being in the front, the high pressure where all the crests are meeting is along this line. And so if an airplane flies faster than the speed of sound, there's a huge shock wave that's created. So an object such as an airplane traveling faster than the speed of sound is said to be a supersonic aircraft. And what you get, and this would have to be a jet fighter, this would have to be maybe, there used to be a commercial plane. Let's call this a fighter jet. Those are the kind of airplanes that can do this. There used to be a commercial plane that passengers could buy a ticket on and go faster than the speed of sound. It went between New York and Boston and London or Paris. So there was basically two itineraries, Boston to London, New York to Paris, and two airplanes, airlines, British Airways and Air France, used to have an airplane called the Concorde. And the Concorde was shaped like a fighter jet. It had a body that was very skinny, and then it had like a what's called a delta wing shape. So the airplane kind of was shaped like this. Its engines were back here, and it would it burned a lot of fuel. But that was a fighter jet that could, a passenger plane that could break the sound barrier. Now, why did they pick Boston and London and New York and Paris? Well, the trip is over the ocean almost the entire time. And in order to go faster than the speed of sound, what happens is here's your pressure wave or here's your shock wave. It's actually a cone. And you notice that when the cone hits the ground, you get this curve, or it's actually a parabola. And that is where we would hear a sonic boom. So they don't fly military jets or commercial airplanes over buildings or over cities, because it would actually create a very loud, almost like an explosion noise or like a firework going off, but a very loud one, a very deep one. And that could shatter windows of structures because the pressure wave of all of the waves kind of piling up, remember the sound waves from the aircraft all have crests on this line. And let me do the last one, right? And all of those pressure waves all end up hitting the ground on this curve. It's really hard to describe, but because it's a cone of sound or pressure waves hitting a flat surface, this is kind of like the slice that you'd get. So anyone standing on that line would hear a sonic boom. All the way back with, of course, the range. Okay, last sound idea, we're gonna break this into two little videos, are called beats. And beats are not as maybe not as violent as a shock wave. Beats are really kind of chill, okay? Now, what is it? Beats are not rhythm, right? This is not about rhythm or the pattern of music, right? Instead, it's an interference pattern between two slightly different frequencies, okay? So you take two instruments. It could be two trumpets, two violins, or even two tuning forks. And let's say that one is called F1 and one's called F2, and they're close together. Maybe one is 440 hertz and the other one is 442 hertz, a little bit higher frequency. And if you play them at the same time, or two trumpets that are out of tune, or two violins that are out of tune, what you'll get when they play is you'll get moments where their pressure waves are lined up and they're gonna get louder. And here's another place where they get louder. And then this region, do you notice what's happening here is the compressions are lining up with the rarefactions and it's getting quieter here. So you get this like loud, soft, loud, soft, loud, soft, and they have a frequency to them. So we call it the frequency of the beats. And this is best heard by going to maybe a YouTube video and saying, hey, show me a video of beats. Because here are the two frequencies. They look so similar to each other, you can't tell. These are 10 and 12 hertz. So 10 is on the top, 12 is in the middle. But what if you add them and play them at the same time? What you're gonna get is loud and soft and then loud and soft again. And you can actually calculate the beat pattern. So if you wanna know how many loud, soft regions there's gonna be per second, so whoa, 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 up and down, all you have to do is find the difference between the two wave frequencies. And let's go to the next page to see how this one in here. Okay, so a piano tuner is trying to get the piano to play a 392. There's a frequency the piano tuner is trying to get. That's a G. Okay, it's a note on the piano. However, he or she or they hear two beats. That means they have to fix it. So here's how it works. The frequency of the beats is 2. 2 loud softs every second. And you notice that there's an absolute value. The absolute value means that basically, if the beats are equal to 2, you cannot tell whether the other frequency is too higher or too lower, right? So maybe use common sense and say, well, if the difference between 392 and some other number is 2 in its absolute value, then F1 could be 390 or it could be 394. You don't know which one it is. So it's either one. And maybe you remember how to do math with absolute value. You would actually do the math, 392 minus F1 equals positive 2. Then you would do negative 2 equals 392 minus F1. And notice when you do that, you get the high one and the low one, right? Because you're having to subtract 392 from both sides. This one's a little bit easier. Maybe you don't even have to show your work, but I'm gonna do it anyway. F2 minus F1. How many beats would we hear per second if these two notes were played at the same time? 266 minus 277. Oops, I wrote that wrong, 262. And if you do the subtraction, you're gonna find out that it is 15 hertz difference. So you would get 15 loud softs per second. It would actually sound like a pulsing, a very fast pulsing, almost like a singer who has what's called a vibrato or a tremolo, right? So that's how beats work. That's how sonic booms work, and that's where did we start? We started with my. Okay, so that's video number 1.